Lily was a pretty young lady, very beautiful. She was married, but she fell in love with a black man named Larry. Now, this was back in the day when interracial couples were forbidden. One day she was with Larry, and all of a sudden her husband pulled up in the driveway. She heard the car pull up and she freaked out. Lily tried not to panic. She told Larry, "Let me show you the back door." They got to the back door, but before opening it, Lily shouted, "Larry, wait, I hear voices outside." She looked outside the back window and saw a couple walking their dog in the neighborhood. The couple had stopped behind Lily's house to clean up their dog's poop. Lily didn't have much time to think. It was daytime, so she couldn't let Larry hide in or around the backyard where people could see him. She had to go to plan B. She told him to get in the closet in her room. Larry ran back to the bedroom located in the front of the house. The husband got close, yelling, "Honey, I'm home." Larry jumped in the closet, terrified. While hiding in the closet, he had time to think. He realized he was on her side of town, and if he got caught by this man, there was no telling how it would turn out. It would be more than just a fist fight. Lily's husband came right into the bedroom and got in bed with her. He started talking and spending quality time with her. At this time, Larry was still in the closet, shaking so hard that his knees were knocking together. His teeth were grinding and he kept panicking, even passing gas in the closet. He thought as soon as the husband goes to sleep, he would escape. But then the husband said, "Honey, I'm going to go put my hat and coat in the closet." He got up and headed towards the closet. He opened the closet door, and just as he did, Larry stood up in the closet, holding onto one of the shelves in fear. He picked up a clothes hanger and handed it to Lily's husband, unable to think of anything else to grab off the shelf. When the husband saw him, he was shocked and furious. The closet door was halfway open, but now he opened the closet door all the way. Larry, in a low voice, whispered, "Hey man, I'm sorry, man. My bad, brother. Just let me out of here now, and I promise I won't do this ever again." The husband said, "What did you say, boy? You've got another thing coming if you think I'm going to let you go." They started fighting, and the fight went on for a good 20 minutes. It was serious fighting. Furniture moving around the room, fists, knees, elbows, and feet flying. They were tearing everything apart. The husband grabbed his gun, but Larry managed to grab it away from him, and all of a sudden, the gun went off. Larry had shot Lily's husband. Larry knew he would be lynched if he got caught for shooting the white man, so he started freaking out because he knew he had to get away. This was back in the 1940s. Lily started freaking out, jumping all over Larry, yelling, "You shot him! You shot him!" Larry pushed her away, ran downstairs, saw the man's car keys, grabbed them, jumped in the man's car, and sped down the street. Back in those days, cars only had a certain speed limit, but he went down the street going about 70 or 80 miles an hour. He was thinking, "I have to get out of town, or the state, or heck, maybe leave the country." He just kept driving. He only had one friend who he knew would help him, so he drove to where his friend worked at the barbershop. He told his friend what had happened, and his friend told him that his cousin named Shortbread could help him. He told him where to find Shortbread. When he found Shortbread, he told him what had happened. Shortbread said, "I can get you out of here, but first you have to get some money because you know it takes money to make money. You can't do this broke. You can only go so far being broke before word gets out, and by then, it's over. So you need some money." Finally, Shortbread said, "You know what? I've been scouting a house for a month now. The owners are rarely home." Larry said, "Sure, whatever. I just need some money to get out of town." They drove to the house. At this time, Larry was still driving Lily's husband's car. They drove past the house and parked on the back street behind it. There was a closed, quiet loading dock, and they parked in the loading dock driveway because they didn't want to draw attention to themselves, so they wouldn't be seen. Now they got into the house, and it was dark because it was nighttime. They started moving around, looking for money or anything of value. Suddenly, they heard someone coming home. Larry whispered to Shortbread, I thought you said the owner is rarely home and that they should be out of town. Shortbread started freaking out and decided to hide under the huge kitchen cabinet sink while Larry went inside the pantry. They tried their best to be quiet, thinking that after an hour or two the owners would go off to bed. All of a sudden, the husband and wife walked into the kitchen. The husband said, "Honey, I'm so sorry the dinner at the restaurant was interrupted by the emergency call from the station." The wife said, "No problem, honey. I'm going to make us something to eat." Larry realized the house they had broken into was the sheriff's house. Shortbread had scouted a house that happened to belong to the sheriff. That's why the owner was gone for so long, because in a small town back in the day, the sheriff would be gone from home for days or weeks at a time since the police department didn't hire a lot of staff. The sheriff was also the secretary, traffic police, cleaner, etc. And if they had no children, the wife would stay with family until her husband came home. The wife asked the husband to get her one of the skillets from the cabinet. He said, "Sure," and opened the cabinet. At first, he didn't see Shortbread, who was trying to hide between the pots and trash bags. After a few seconds, the sheriff saw him under the sink cabinet. He reached out and grabbed Shortbread. Larry got scared, and that's when Larry jumped out of the pantry and shot the sheriff. The sheriff's wife started screaming. They ran through the house, heading for the front door. Larry turned the doorknob and opened the door, and to his surprise, there were 2 police officers walking up the porch. They got closer before Larry and Shortbread completely ran out the door. The officers, not realizing who had opened the door, said, "Sheriff, sorry to stop by so late, but we had some downtime, so we decided to drop off the documents you requested." Larry and Shortbread froze. Everything happened so fast they had no time to react. They tried to close the door and go back into the house, but the wife started yelling louder. Shortbread yelled out, "She's got a gun!" She started shooting at them, bullets flying everywhere. With the cops outside, they were cornered with nowhere to go. She shot Shortbread in both legs, and Larry got shot in the arm. They were both apprehended by the 2 police officers outside. The sheriff and Lily's husband survived. Lily's husband forgave Lilly. Larry and Shortbread were sentenced to 50 years in prison. They both regretted their actions and became motivational speakers for the other prisoners. Both men wrote books about their life stories. To support the channel and get notified of new uploads, please subscribe.